Well, hello everyone. Thank you for watching, and I just come to you today to say Happy New Year. Well, I can't believe that 2017 is gone. It seems like it just started. And our life and ministry during this past year and our nation literally has been on a very rocky roller coaster. But we're going into 2018 and we've got work to do. We can't get caught up in the distractions. We can't get caught up in the negativity. We can't get caught up in the demonic attacks that are coming back in front with us. But our ministry is united. And when the enemy moves in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord lifts up a standard against him. We believe that what you pray for, that's what you receive. A prayer never prayed is never answered. Our New Year's program is tremendous. The word God gave me for 2018 was 1 Samuel 25. It is an amazing chapter. It is America. So don't go away. We're going to talk about vision. We're going to talk about hope. We're going to talk about the blessings that God is pouring out in spite of all of the enemy that's trying to destroy our country, take over our nation, make it a communist, make it an occult-founded nation. It is not, and it will never be. So stay tuned. Call your friends and tell them Faye is on. She's got a powerful new program. She believes 2018 is the breakthrough year for God's people. Don't give up. I'll be right back. I am Faye Hardin, and this is Well, I just want to say Happy New Year to everybody, and I want you to know that you are so special to me. Our viewers, intercessors, partners, you are special to this ministry. We need you. We've recruited prayer warriors for years, and we have received prayer warriors. I'm going to be talking to you about vision and where we're headed for 2018, and I need you to get on board. If the Christians do not fight back, if we don't take back our language, take back our schools, take back our classrooms, colleges, universities, it's our fault that we see America in the culture that it has now arrived at. It's not the politicians, it's not the Democrat Party, the Republican Party, it's not the races, it's not the nationalities. It's the job of God's people to be the forerunners of the gospel of Jesus Christ. Last year was an amazing year spiritually for our ministry. We had so many breakthroughs. The prayer warriors, unbelievable. The liberals are falling like flies. The Lord exposed the slush funds. He's exposed the sex crimes committed by politicians that have been covered up and paid for by tax dollars. We sent these people to office, and we are going to have to move them out of office. And we can't turn our heads, and we can't go by the circumstances that we're all facing. Years ago in the 90s, God gave me a vision of women coming on the scene. And I've published this vision. I've sent it out for the years. And he showed me women lined up in an A-frame as far as you could see, starting with 1, then 2, then 3. As far as you could see, with the strongest faces I could ever imagine, women as far as you could see, and the strongest women I could ever imagine. And I looked up looked up to heaven. I said, Lord, this was in the 90s. I said, where are all these strong women? The church's women are hurting. I was in a singles ministry then. Our ministry was one of the few, it was a forerunner of singles ministries for our country. And I was doing national conferences and going location. I was evangelizing, going in churches. And the women of God were weak. and they were under tremendous attack, assaults. Your families were going. Divorce was hitting us like crazy. It hit the church just like it did the world. You couldn't tell any difference. And in the stream, I saw these strong women. I said, Lord, who are these strong women? Where are they? Your women are weak, and they're hurting, and they're being defeated. And God spoke to me, those were not his women, that those were women that were being led and controlled by Satan. And they would infect, INFECT, they would infect the church and the homes and the nations. And that I was to start prayer circles. And these circles were to pray for this nation and pray that when these women come full force with the power of communism, the spirit of communism, the rule of communism to take over our nation, that I would have prayer teams that were educated, they were informed, they were powerful, and they knew how to pray to combat what these women wanted to do to our country. And that I was to start raising up prayer teams, 2 to 10. Don't go over 10. The Holy Spirit said, from 2 to 10 in circles, I was to guide them every week with the information, with the scriptures, and with the deliverance prayers for America never to succumb to communism. When I woke up, I said, Lord, communism is dead. I was there. I've been at Checkpoint Charlie right after the wall fell in Germany. I was there, Lord. Communism is dead. And he said, no, it's not dead. It's just moved its headquarters from Russia, Moscow, to the United States. And these women have been empowered to bring it full force and bring America into a godless nation. But if you pray, if your teams begin to understand what's going on, and you will guide them in accurate praying, that when these women arrive, your prayer teams will be so strong and so vast and so committed, so mature and so informed, that when they pray wherever in the United States that they are praying for this country, that's what the prayer teams were to do, that the Spirit of God in these circles would go up into the heavens, and in the heavens they would unite. And the combustion of the power of prayer, there's no distance in the Spirit, would bring down every demonic kingdom that we focused at. Well, at that time, I didn't know who the governor of Florida was, and I didn't care. My ministry's in a total different direction. I was very happy with what I was doing. Our television ministry was daily television, totally funded. Plus, we were raising thousands of dollars for Israel and the return of the Jews, over and above our budget, over and above the travel to the nations. But I knew God's voice, and I knew that vision was of God. I called 17 leaders in this state to my home. I still have the pictures of that meeting, that luncheon. Some of the largest churches, pastors' wives in the state of Florida. There were other ministries, leaders that were there. They knew me. I was an evangelist at the time. I was an ambassador for Israel around the world at that time, basically. But I told them, I said, God has shown me that there's women coming on the scene in this country that's going to take our religious freedom. They're going to take our culture. And I didn't know about the 60s. I'd never heard of Hillary and Bill Clinton. I had no clue about the feminist movement. And I had to learn all of that. But I began to have my people begin to pray with me for America. So for me to lead them, I had to research what was going on. God rest her soul, Phyllis Schlafly was my mentor. I read everything she wrote. She was one of the few godly women that was standing in the face of evil over this nation. She was in their face. She became an attorney at age 55. She backed down many things with setting up Eagle Forum and putting Christians on college campuses and clubs. And she would give you the places to go to find out the facts on what the federal government was doing to really, really renounce and declare war on the Bible, on prayer, on Christians, on Christmas. And the church just remained totally aloof. The more they took, the more silent the church became. Well, God began to educate me. He began to give me favor. Whenever the movement of prayer began to come and take root, a lady that was supposed to donate thousands and thousands of dollars to my ministry, they would have funded it for about 4 months. Her attorney stole the money, and I was expecting it, and it didn't come. In 24 hours, I lost my television ministry, my travel ministry, and I had to just cut back to deal with our teams. I had to pay my own tolls to get to meetings. It was amazing how the enemy tried to stop, but God told me what I was doing was accurate, and He would meet my needs. I would walk into malls, and people that knew me would stop me and say, Faye, the Lord told me to give you this, and they'd hand me a check for $10,000, which would pay my bills another 3 to 4 months, because I lived a frugal life, but a life that would keep the ministry afloat, and I knew what I was doing was God. We went from 6,000 people on our mailing list, and 5,500 of them Floridians, to 350. People didn't want information about America. We can support Israel. It's not political. Well, you can't read the Bible without knowing that it is the most political book ever written. It's government against government, evil against good. Well, November the 4th of 2017, a revolutionary war was planned by the evil ones in this nation for a complete revolution of America. They were claiming it as a communist, godless nation with a civil war plan for those 3 days. This ministry was ahead of the game. We're ahead of the nasty women's movement, which has the same goals. But the Christians are still out of the loop. You're not, because if you are, you wouldn't be watching this program. I'm going to finish this story and tell you what God is planning for 2018. And I need every single viewer to participate. We have a new 800 number just so you can call and donate. You won't get a voicemail. You won't have to worry about getting a call back or not. It's for donations only, and for us to stay in the market that you are watching this program, you must respond. I'll be right back. Well, hello everyone, this is Faye Harding again. I want to just take a moment and update you on our Virtuous Woman's movement that we have now launched. This is what I need for you to do. Do you have any idea what the Nasty Woman's movement is about? I have the details of it, and I want to send that to you. And these are the women that have control of our classrooms, K through 12 children. They use them as a captive audience to further an agenda from hell. I want you to sign my petition. We now have a website, the Virtuous Woman's Movement.com. That is Faye, Faye, VWM.com. I need for you to join us, sign our petition, and to make a statement. Nasty women, you do not speak for us. I want to go back and finish what I'm saying to you, because the vision that God gave me in the 90s manifested at the inauguration in 2017 of the President of the United States. I've never seen such nasty women, such strong women, such pornographic women. everything that they stand for comes out of the handbook called evil. The Christian women cannot ignore these women. They have taken over our classrooms. They've taken over our colleges. They've taken over our government. And they're depicting women like you and I who believe in a living God, who believe that he died on the cross and he rose from the dead. And he's at the right hand of the Father, hearing our prayers, giving us the petitions based on the promises of his book. We are the haters. We are the people that need to be watched. And we've elected politicians that have been to promote this kind of evil. And we've elected politicians who are con artists, who have used tax dollars to cover up their own sex crimes. $37 million to give to former presidents for what? They removed $473 billion from Medicare while they support unbelievable waste, fraud, and abuse through slush funds and through expenditures that'll make you want to cry. I have these reports. I have a report of the slush funds that there's no accountability for them. I have the money that they've spent for, you couldn't even imagine what is going on with the fraud, the waste, millions of dollars. The legislative branch appropriation bill is, according to some of the members of the Congress, more convoluted, deliberately concealing what they spend money on from all of us. We elected them. It has to change. But these women, led by Hillary Clinton, 5 million were on the mall the day after the inauguration of our president, declaring that they would overthrow our elections. They would overthrow our president. 5 million with millions of dollars to push their agenda from hell forward in this country, and they have done it. The women of God, you cannot ignore this. I have a website, Faye, F-A-Y-E, VWM.com. You can go to and sign a petition. These women, these nasty women, Hillary Clinton, Linda Zarzar, and the liberal women, which is another word from communist women, do not speak for me. I am not a hater, and neither are you. And if we let them continue to depict us this way, we are going to pay a high price. You say, Faye, it's just signing a petition. What good is it? When we get the numbers, it's going to give us a voice that we do not have at this time. What the word that God gave me for 2018 was in Samuel, 1 Samuel, chapter 25. It is amazing what the Lord showed us. Actually, he gave it to one of our intercessors on our Saturday call, our prayer call and weekly briefing call. And this is what it says. This chapter gives an account of the death of Samuel and of the ill treatment David met with and from Nabal, I guess you would say. It begins with the death of Samuel, which was greatly lamented in Israel. It draws the character of Nabal and his wife and records a message of David to him by his young men, desiring that he would send him some of his provisions made for by his sheep shearers. And Nabal's ill-natured answer to him reported by the young men which provoked David to arm against him. And this being told, Abigail, the wife of Nabal, and a good character given of David and his men, and of the advantage of Nabal's shepherds, had received from them, and the danger his family was in, through his ingratitude. She prepared a present to pacify David, and went in with it herself, and addressed him in a very handsome and affectionate and prudent manner, and met with a kind reception. And the chapter closes with an account of the death of Nabal and of the marriage of Abigail to David. I just want to explain to you that in Samuel chapter 25, there had been a harvest, a good harvest with Nabal and his shearers. And David was king, and he wanted some of it. And if you read the whole chapter, it tells you that David said, I didn't take you out when I could have. The government didn't overtake you like we could have. So based on the fact that we let you be free, you owe us. And I've sent men to collect from your harvest for the government. And David thought the force of the government was all it would take for Nabal to pony up and give him a large portion of his harvest. And he sent word back, you didn't help shear the sheep. You didn't help with this harvest. And the government has no right to the blessings of what I have worked so hard for. And you go back and tell the king, he told his men, that he will get nothing from me. Now there's two concepts to this chapter. There's a chapter that Nabal could have shared what he had. But there's a second concept that I'm going to go to right after this message. Hi, just want to give you an update on the outreach of what we're doing, especially in the media. Number one, to combat the wicked women, we are organizing virtuous women. Please contact me and get on board. We are on Facebook, Facebook.com/Faye USA, live weekly with an insider's briefing. YouTube, Insight USA, live briefing weekly. And then insightUSA.us. You can get our information and you can see what you need to do to have a voice. It is time God's people has a voice. Will you support me? Will you join our movement to combat what the witches are doing in this nation now? What God is showing us is in the book of Samuel that the government is not supposed to force its will on the people. But what happened? David had sent an army in to bring down Nabal because he questioned the government taking of his harvest. But there was a woman in the house that knew the civil war was coming because God revealed it to her. Abigail, Nabal's wife. And God showed her to bake a cake, bake goodies, to meet David and his army that was getting ready to come in and bring Nabal and the nation down because he didn't get what he wanted. He said, you go forth. He said, you intercede and stop the civil war. It's not my will. I will deal with it. God has shown us that there is a civil war at our door in this country. Blood is headed for the streets. We are combating that from a spiritual standpoint through our prayer ministry, through our Saturday briefing and call, through our television ministry, Facebook, other ways that we're reaching out now through the media. But it's going to take an intercessor to stop it. It's going to take an intercessor to turn back that Revolutionary War that was planned for November the 4th, 2017. It's going to take intercessors to stop the blood from dripping on our streets, and believe me, they are ready to march. Abigail went out and met the king, told him what God said, and he received the word of the intercessor. I believe our president is receiving the word of Christians and intercessors at this time. He's fighting against the war on Christmas, the war on Christians, the war on prayer and the Bible, and we had better take note that that is the will and pleasing God. I'm asking you today, will you be one of those intercessors that intervenes? And it was just days after David took his army, went back, that Nabal died. He just dropped dead. And the scriptures tell us that it was God's intervention that stopped the bloodshed. It's going to be God's intervention that stops the bloodshed in this nation. But Christians, women, you have to rise. Go to Faye, F-A-Y-E, DWM.com. Sign my petition. And if we do not have the income from the markets that we're in to keep this program on your station, we're going to have to withdraw the program. So you need to decide who you're going to partner with this year. This is America. I need your help. I need people to go to our website. You can make $100, $500, $1,000. We need your response. So you can just turn a channel and go on to something else. And next week, if I'm not there, you can say, wow, well, she told us. It'll be too late. So I'm asking you for support today. There's an 800 number on your screen. They take your donation straight out. Let me hear from you. Get a complimentary copy of our face fax by calling our office, and that number also is there. See you next week.
Faye wants to hear from you. Her desire to see America come out of exile is raising up one of the most powerful, informed, anointed, and united prayer networks in America for America. She is organizing Christians for the U.S. Constitution to give uncompromising believers back their voice and witness. If this program has blessed you and you believe in what Faye is doing, contact her, pray with and for her, partner with her. She would love for you to host an Insight rally in your church or city. Organize an Intercessors with Insight prayer team or join one. For a complimentary pocket-sized constitution or Faye's fax, call or email Faye 407-265-0700 or faye.usainsight@gmail.com. Write Insight USA, P.O. Box 917689, Longwood, Florida 32791.